Hey, what's up? So I got around to writing a full review of Forspoken. I had written a review on Steam just to share. I shared a decent review on Steam, but I mostly just wanted to let people know what I thought, that I liked it and what I liked and stuff like that. But it wasn't a fully detailed kind of a thing. Um, and I knew that I wanted to get around to writing a real review, a longer one with more details and stuff. Not like deep, but and you'll see because I'm gonna read it to you. I also have some comments on that article on my review to read to you as well and share some thoughts, and because it's funny stuff. Anyways, so I'm gonna read my review for you here. I what was I gonna say? Damn it. I opened up a couple videos. A few of them are a few minutes long, and then there's one that's 10 minutes long. We'll see how these go. I haven't watched the full thing or anything. I just wanted to put some gameplay on the screen while I read my review. I would have done my own gameplay, but I only streamed it on Twitch, so it's kind of blurry and stuff, especially during the combat itself. So I'm not going to share my gameplay, but anyways, here is my review of Forspoken. Forspoken is an incredible game. Unfortunately, the story is very badly paced. Most of the best parts happen in the last 3 to 4 hours. And this could be it could have been 5 to 6 hours. It was towards the end of the game. But it was towards the end where it got really good. The story kind of all came together, and it was cool up until that point, but it's just very badly paced. Very badly paced. As much as I like Frey, for most of the story, she's a complete a-hole. What's worse is that after you complete the campaign where she has become more lovable, the endgame extra content takes her personality backwards, as the normal banter she has with her cuff is from the beginning of the game where she's an a-hole. Yeah, that was really annoying. Because you get to know her more throughout the story, and again, anyways, while I can understand why Freya is such a jerk most of the time due to her history, instead of being relatable, she's just mean to pretty much everyone for no real good reason ever. I can be a jerk too, but damn, Anyways, I really love the environments and side activities in Forspoken. Sadly, the combat really opens up until after you've already beaten every boss in the game, every main story boss. The good thing is it opens up enough after just the first main story boss because of the new ability set you unlock. I had totally forgotten that the game even had different ability sets until I had unlocked my first one. I was very happy about it because I played the open world for around 25 hours before finally moving on with the campaign, and I had gotten bored of the first ability set by that point. I had forgotten. I had watched previews. I had watched probably a couple hours worth of gameplay before the game even launched, and I had completely forgotten. I had played 25 hours of the first skill set that you start with, that I totally forgot that you would even get more. For my first 20 hours of exploration, I was really impressed by the combat and world. I was sad that there was no real melee combat apart from the low health finishers, which can't be considered melee combat. I had decided to move on with the story after completing the first boss is when I was reminded and realized that I would unlock all new abilities and gameplay, and it was epic. The first main story boss unlocked melee combat. Yeah, I was very excited. I was like, I need melee. The coolest thing about the combat in Forspoken is how each spell tree has 3 different main attacks that you can pick between, with multiple variations of use for combo style attacks, as well as charging them up for stronger attacks. On top of that, each spell tree has multiple support abilities. They call them support abilities that add both offensive and defensive spells. That's why I thought it was funny that they called them support abilities, because it's mostly attack abilities that they add, but they're extra spells. So each spell tree has multiple support abilities that add both offensive and defensive spells. All of the spells are beautiful and really flashy, which I love. There's no 10 plus combos or anything, which would have been awesome, but there is a very nice variety of attacks and special effects. It is very weird that you don't really get to enjoy all the splendor that the combat has to offer until after you've completed the story, because each boss fight is how you unlock the new abilities. From what I can tell based on other reviews and comments, the story itself might be around 8 to 10 hours long if you just rush through it. I didn't complete the story myself until after around 50 hours. I think it was 55 hours, I think. And I didn't finish it myself until around 50 hours in because I had spent a lot of time exploring early on, as well as after. Once I had remembered that after every main story boss you unlock abilities, I kind of focused more on the story, but I still explored and went a little bit into those maps. But the first map that you start in, that's the one I spent way too much time in before continuing with the story. And that's why I had so much time played on just that with one skill tree. But yeah, once I realized I would be unlocking more abilities, I spent like maybe a couple hours or maybe like 2 to 3 hours in those zones before going into the final boss, because I really wanted more abilities. I was like, what else does this game have? Let's see. I currently have 60 hours played and will have at least 70, if not more, before I'm done with it. There's massive amounts of content in the game. It is kind of copy paste, but it's cool stuff. Like your normal open world stuff, you have, whatever. But I love the world in this game. It's really cool. I do have, I think now 68 hours played, and I'm going to be playing more. The world in Forspoken is nowhere close to empty, as a lot of moron sheep commenters on forums and such keep saying. I'll pause there briefly to let the people that want to leave the video now that think it's stupid of me to call people morons for being morons. Bye-bye. Anyways, it's funny. Alright, so the world is not empty. This is obvious to anybody that has actually taken the time to really play the game. There's so much to do everywhere you go, and there's all kinds of random enemies in between the content itself that you eventually will end up just running past them without bothering to fight. The opinions of sheep that didn't like the demo and don't think for themselves are ludicrous. I'm not going to hold back on these words because I'll never forget what happened with Anthem, and the same thing is happening here. While the best parts of the story happen towards the end of the game, the rest of the world offers so much awesomeness. There are very cool side dungeons with bosses that you don't see anywhere else in the game, which sucks. There's only a few unique ones. Now, to be clear on why it sucks, that it's awesome that there are unique bosses. That's always awesome. Like, there's this one boss and you see it once and it's like, oh man, I want more stuff like that. It's all cool. I love the enemy variety in the game, which I didn't mention in my review. I forgot to, but I didn't really care to go back and throw it in there. But yeah, so there's a few of the dungeon bosses that are different than the rest, because for most dungeons it's kind of like the 3 or 4, maybe 5, I think, I forget, but there's a few different types of bosses in these dungeons. And then there was a couple that were completely different, like there's 2 or 3 of them, I think, and I had not seen them before, and I was like, whoa, how come there aren't more of these guys too, because they're really cool. So it doesn't suck that there's unique bosses and it doesn't suck that there's not more of them, exactly, because it's nice to have unique stuff, have something special there, but it's weird how, like, in most games we fight the same enemies over and over again, and then there's that one boss and you're like, well, how give me more of that as well, so special stuff is cool to have. Where was I? Okay, most of the dungeons have the same boss types, but they're all cool. The open world itself has special bosses as well. There are normal enemies, stronger enemies, and then super badass enemies. The very special ones are marked on the map as well, either once you've been close enough to them or by accessing towers that reveal the areas. One of my favorite side activities is finding special cats. It's kind of stupid, but it's fun and adorable part of the game. And I will be the best cat lady. I love all the cats that show up in your home too, like your rest home or whatever. It's super adorable. It's so cute. They're awesome. I love these cats. It would have been awesome if there were parkour races as side content. The movement is pretty amazing. Sorry, I had to check something real quick. There are minor annoyances like auto jumping off of pebbles, like little tiny parts, with auto parkour enabled, which of course I have enabled. But overall, it's wonderful. Since Forspoken plays out like an RPG and you do level up, there is a point where you basically become godlike. There is a very nice amount of accessibility and difficulty options that allow you to set up some preferences that can change up the overall challenge. An interesting lesson found at the end of the game is to be careful who you trust. I don't know why I never realized how true to our everyday normal life stories like this are. I always thought of them as fantasy. I could recognize the truth in them, but I didn't realize how deep everything is in regards to our normal everyday life, and that we should be very careful with whom we place our trust every single day. I've been too trusting for most of my life. I understand that now, and it sucks. And quote, putting your faith in humans is a great way to guarantee disappointment, end quote. Cuff. Now this was a quote from the game. And I like how I put a note here. I like how the bracelet lights up when talking. It's really pretty too. The visual effect on the bracelet when it talks to you it's beautiful. All the effects and everything is beautiful. I thought about writing some more details, but I think I've said enough and shared most of the things I care about. I really love Forspoken. There is some very bad dialogue and poor voice acting, but overall it's awesome. I think it's unique and special while it also has most of the checkbox open world type gameplay. Some bullet point feedback. The delay between NPC talking and interacting with the world again sucks. I didn't go into super details, but like, so you know when you complete a quest or talk to an NPC and then you're gonna start playing again, there's like a 5 to 10 second delay. It depends. Sometimes it's weird. Like I don't know. It's not like PC optimization, but it's like game optimization. Like I don't know why it does that. It's just strange, right? It kind of takes the flow out of the game in a way, but it's also kind of old school stuff. Like retro games were like that too. Like you had to wait in between every talking point between characters and stuff, right? Like it's not a cinematic, but you had to wait for that. Then it happens in this game. It's just an annoying little thing. Forced snail's pace slow walk at times is so gross. I hate this in any game that does that, especially when they don't need to. Final Fantasy Remake did it a bunch. Not like a bunch, but it did it, and I was just like, oh, I hate that forced like super ultimate slow walk crap, you know. It's Dungeon treasure rooms would have been cooler if they had different shapes or colors depending on boss type, or if they were just different every time. The music is so good. Love the music in this game. The main story bosses were truly incredible, and I kind of don't like saying stuff like that because I don't want to overhype something. I thought that the main story bosses were they were special. They were like, whoa, right? And so I'm not trying to overhype it. I thought they were really incredible. Note: I've read about a lot of optimization issues with the game on PC. I experienced a few crashes myself, as well as a couple of system reboots on a very high-end rig, so it is a bit alarming. I would be hesitant to play this on a lower-end PC until after patches, or maybe just play on low to medium graphics settings. Overall, my experience was nearly flawless, and this is, I mean, I was worried about having my PC restarted twice. I had a few crashes. Again, I'm at nearly 70 hours played. But yeah, just the fact that even a friend of mine told me it could be an issue with my PC. I don't think so. I think it was actually the game that did it. Anyways, yeah. So, all right. Unrelated to note, Gotham Knights is also a cool game that I recommend. I haven't beaten it yet because I burnt out a bit on it after 40 hours played. Happens sometimes. I burned out on a few of my favorite games, including Mad Max and Days Gone, before eventually returning later and completing them. And I love those games. I played them so much and it's kind of, you know, like your typical open world game. It's kind of the same stuff everywhere, and those are great games, man. And Gotham Knights is freaking good. The story, oh my gosh, I was not expecting the story to be as good as it is. I thought it was gonna be cool, but like it's really good. Anyways, thanks for reading. Game on. Trust your instincts. Question everything. Authority is the enemy. Expertise is an opinion. Professionalism is inhumane. And then I added a link to my Steam review, which currently my profile is forced to being private. It comes off today. I've been responding to clowns and sheep and idiots on their forums because they get away with generally being insulting and stupid trolls. But if you insult them, they ban you for insulting assholes and morons. That's what we live in. That is our online communities and stuff. All these stupid people that think it's okay to be generally dumb and asshole and just stupid. But if you insult them for being stupid, you get banned for it. That's what we live in. So, you know, whatever. Like I know that when I call them an idiot for being an idiot, I know that's not a nice thing to say. It's still stupid that they are allowed to say the stupid things that they say. But when you call them stupid for being stupid, you can't do that. Oh man. All right. So the comment section. Okay, this was an interesting, funny one because I had shared this on a few different Discords, and I'm not usually super active, and I understand I've been the same way with my own Discord. It does suck when somebody isn't active in your community and then just one day just pops in and says, "Here's my stuff, come look at it." Right? Like that's not, you have, like, if you want to share your stuff, that's what you have to do. But you know, I get why people can be a little offended by that, right? Like I've been the same, so I know, you know. Anyways, one person had commented, and it was from that Discord channel, the Green Man Gaming Discord channel, which I used to highly promote along years ago, when, especially when GMG was new. I promoted them a lot. They were a very valid, official third-party website that you could buy games from for on sale and stuff like that. Because they were more, what were they? They're kind of verified, right? Rather in comparison to like CD keys or whatever. And so a long time ago, I had heavily promoted them and stuff, and I even became an affiliate. You know, whatever. So I really like their site. They're not the same now. They are kind of better in the everything, but it's different. It's just, as things get bigger, they always change, you know. Anyways, so somebody, I didn't know where this comment came from, because I don't usually get comments on my posts. It's not a big site, it's not popular, it doesn't get a lot of views, you know. So when I got a comment, I was like, oh, hey, somebody must have liked it or whatever. And so the comment was, stopped reading at moron sheep commenters on forums, because if you have to resort to insults, you have no skills as a reviewer. That's hilarious to me. And you don't know, it doesn't require skill to have an opinion, first of all, right? Opinions is not a skillful thing. Could you imagine, like, applying for a job or something, be like, yeah, I'm really good at having opinions. I have the best opinions. It's funny to me, man. So I responded to him and I said, LOL, because you're likely one of them. And the reason that I said this, I'm done taking people's shit. I'm done. I am completely done. It doesn't mean I have to be rude all the time, you know. But I'm not, like, this was a comment in response to my thing, and I was like, all right. And to me, I see this as, why would you defend morons? That's what it is to me. That's my perspective. Why are you defending morons? Like, what is the point of that? I'm calling out morons for being morons. And you're like, oh, well, that doesn't take skill. Like, really? 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 So you're telling me that you've never seen, you don't see this. You don't see the stupidity and the sheepish, like, regurgitated bullcrap from everybody that just doesn't even think for themselves. They just repeat everything everybody else says constantly. Even if they do actually agree with it themselves, they don't. They're just saying literally exactly the same. It's like they're bots. People are bots now to me. Oh, anyways. Here, let's all put on one of the different videos real quick. So I'm still gonna be on for a couple more minutes at least. So get some different gameplay. Oh shoot, what did I just click on? Whoops. Was it this one? Okay, sorry. All right. I have a couple window captures because anyways. And then somebody responded to my comment to him, because you're likely one of them. The reason I wrote that too is, like, why else would you defend a moron unless you felt like it was a personal attack on you? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Anyways, so someone responded. Oh yeah, that's right. So this was it for a while. One comment and I replied to it, and so the same guy apparently had posted in the Discord channel, and he kind of said the same thing to me. He said, I forget what he said exactly, but whatever. It was kind of the same thing, just with more words. And to me, it's still stupid, because it comes down to defending morons. Like, you're mad at me for attacking morons. Whatever. But the main reason, though, is, like I said, I went through that with Anthem. It was nuts. I'm telling you, the same stuff is happening. And apparently, I had made a video too that talked about Days Gone got the same kind of treatment. I don't remember Days Gone being as bad, but I do remember all the low scores that Days Gone got when it like, from the official sites and all that, when it first came out. Now people talk about it like it's something great. That's normal. Always later on, more people start playing, check it out, and they're like, "Oh man, this game's amazing." Days Gone is epic. Days Gone is really good. Anyways, so I said, "Cause you're likely one of them," and then somebody responded to that one. It was some. Oh yeah. Okay, forgot. Sorry. So after he said something to me, and I just responded to him by putting emotes on his comment, like the poop emote, the clown emote, the sheep emote. And then someone else later on, like a couple hours later, a few hours, I forget, commented on it saying, "Oh look, he didn't even reply to you. He just put, he's so toxic. He put emotes. It's toxic emotes," which is funny. And then after he posted, about an hour later, I had 17 comments on my blog, and I didn't know exactly where it came from, but I knew it was going to be something stupid. I was actually expecting spam. I was expecting like bot spam, you know? But no, it was a bunch of stupid moron sheep. So this guy comes in and he responded to my reply to the dude where I said, "Because you're likely one of them." And he said, "Dang, big bad reviewer can't even spell the word because correctly," because I put C-U-Z instead. Meanwhile, and I went through my post. It was so funny because I saw the comment in my comment section, not in the post itself, but I was looking at it in the blog comment section. And I was like, wait, did I spell because wrong? Did I put a typo somewhere? So I went looking through my review. I think I put because twice, like total in the whole review. And neither time it was spelled incorrectly. And I was like, what is he talking about? And then later, I didn't realize it right away. I was looking at stuff. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, he's talking about my reply where I replied to him. That's funny to me, man. Like, this is like general chat. You know, and I didn't spell out the word because, and I put cuz instead. Like, what? Okay, that's funny. And then someone else replied to that saying, "Don't be too hard on him. He put the word cuff in quotations because he didn't know the character's name. Obviously didn't research anything before he wrote this." I didn't research anything before I wrote my review. I just played the game for nearly 70 hours, but apparently I need to research the character names. Now, I don't remember the character's name because Cuff has an actual name. Oh, whoops, damn it, I keep doing that. You butthole. Whoops. Alright, hold on. Oh, did I pause it? Wait, did I go in the wrong video? Shoot, sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay. I don't remember Cuff's actual name. He does have a name. You eventually get around to getting the lore of him and stuff like that. And one of the reasons I didn't go into more detail or even call him by name is spoilers-ish. Yeah, well, anyways, I didn't want to get into too much. There are some things I would consider spoilery or whatever that other people might not. Anyways, Cuff, the reason I quoted it is because it's literally his name for most of the game. You call him Cuff the entire time. Cuff, 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 Cuff. This is what you call him as a character. He prefers Vambrace. I didn't need to research that. I played the game. This is hilarious. This is the comments I got, right? These people are stupid, man. They're stupid idiots. Anyways. Someone else commented saying, wow, this review seems very slanted, and after seeing how the reviewer treats criticism, I'm not reading anything further from him. And I don't even consider that criticism. Again, to me, it's just defending morons. How's that criticism? It's not criticizing the actual review. Just because whatever. You could consider it criticism. That's fine. I don't consider it criticism. I think it's just stupid. Anyways, and as far as I think it's really funny that how the reviewer treats criticism. I'm not reading anything from him further. This is the first and only time they'd probably ever be to my site, which is fine. I was just trying to share this one review. Or not even just trying, I was sharing this one review. It's not like this is a regular visitor, like, oh no, he's not going to come back and read more. I mean, that's funny to me. That's just funny. It's, anyways. And then another comment, this guy describes parts of the game as sucks and walking speed as gross. Buy a thesaurus and add to your vocabulary before publishing content. Now, while this is meant to be insulting, it's true. I know this. I've talked about it before. In previous videos here and there, I've talked about how like sometimes it's hard for me to express myself because I don't know the right words. So this was funny to me. I was like, yeah, I mean, sure, I guess, Another comment, saw this review shared on Discord and it's literal trash. Pretty sure I lost a few brain cells reading this garbage. And then someone replied to him, yeah, I don't know why he's sharing it around like people will think it's actually good. Okay, that's funny. And another comment, I give this review a -5 out of 10. And then someone replied to him saying more like a million out of 10, a -million out of 10. And then another reply after that. That's the guy's IQ that wrote this review. It's funny stuff. And at first, when I saw all this trash, I almost deleted them. I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, no, I don't care, and I'll let their stupidity be seen. Of course, I don't know what happened. Something happened with my blog recently, right after I posted my review, actually, for Forspoken. Something went wonky with the HTML, like right after. I'm not blaming the reviewer. I don't think it's a conspiracy. It just happened to bug out and act really dumb, and I don't know how to fix it now. My blog is just broken. It's weird. So anyways, all these replies show up as anonymous. They didn't take the time to put their name in there. They just kind of left a comment without putting. You can add a name or whatever, and they didn't. They're all anonymous, so it's kind of funny. Normally, before this bug happened, I think if you were logged into like Google, because it's a Google blog, it would automatically have your name if you were logged into YouTube or whatever. It doesn't even do that for me. Like I had to manually put my name in when I replied to the one guy. I was like, what the hell is going on here? This is weird. It just happened. I was like, son of a, what, why? Anyways, so it's funny that all the comments are saying anonymous. Anyways, another comment. Reviewer recommends Gotham Knights, LMFAO. That's all I need to know about his garbage opinions. It's funny. And then a reply to that, he also enjoys that bland game, Days Gone. Not the most credible reviewer. This is funny. I'll tell more after a few more comments. I'll explain why I think this is extra funny, okay? And then another reply, or another comment, you lost me in the first sentence when you called Forspoken an incredible game. I think that's super funny, and there's a reason. I did that deliberately. That was very deliberate, so that before you even get into the review, you already know where I'm coming from. That was on purpose. That's why the first couple of things I say is the game's incredible. Well, the story pacing does suck, right? I just so you know where I'm coming from right away. Very deliberate. Let's see. Another comment. He's quoting me. It's kind of stupid, but it's a fun and adorable part of the game, end quote. Damn, son, do you know how to explain your points, or do you just call everything stupid or gross with zero explanation? I think that's really funny. I thought this was funny because I was like, I don't need to explain that. It was just a quick little bit on it, right? You know, and this was talking about my favorite side activities, the cat missions. And of course, I could explain further, but it's not a guide. I'm not giving a tutorial or a guide on why exactly I thought it was stupid. It's a fun little thing, and I loved it. That's all. And he's like, no more details, just stupid or gross. Like, that's funny to me. It's just funny. Another comment. If anyone checks his Steam review, he says, I quote, I do have a very high-end PC, end quote, but doesn't put his specs. Obviously too scared to show off his aging GTX 980. And then a reply to that, LOL, that's true. If that's the case, then I have a very, very high-end PC. Clearly don't have to prove it like the reviewer doesn't. This is hilarious. Prove what you want? Am I supposed to put pictures of my computer on here to prove it? Because otherwise, if I just tell you my PC specs, I could be lying. I don't share my specific specs because I'm kind of embarrassed by how much I spent on my computer. I am. Right away, right when it even got here, when it got in my house, I told my sister, I was like, I regret getting this. I don't, but you know, it was a lot of money. And anyways, yeah, and I'm not bragging because I'm not a rich person. I'm not able to spend that kind of money and just be okay with it. Like yeah, it was not easy, you know, and I don't want to tell people how much I spent on it, you know, whatever, right? Like, it was just funny to me, and just telling you my specs doesn't prove anything. This is funny. So all these comments happened an hour after that person made mention that I had put emoji replies as toxic. Right, he replied. He mentioned that I put toxic emojis on his comment. And an hour later, I come back to my blog and there's 17 full comments on. I was like, okay, yeah. And I kind of was like, I realized what it was when I went and saw his comment. And I was like, oh, all his buddies came to defend him and act stupid and just troll my review. That's exactly what happened. That is what happened. The sheep that I was describing, the moron sheep, jumped in. Nobody, if it wasn't for that, nobody would have. No, I don't think anybody else would have left a comment. It's funny, man. It's hilarious. These are exactly the people that I'm talking about in my review. These are the people I'm talking about. That is funny. That's just funny, man. I think I had a few more thoughts on that too, because like I'm telling you, I was cracking up. I was like, whoa, they literally just, they're literally an example of the people that I was mentioning in my review. This is it right here. It's hilarious. Anyways, I hope you liked my review. I'll link it in the description in case you feel like reading it. I did, yeah, whatever. I want to say more. I don't know what exactly. I think I mostly, because there was just a couple notes that I had mentioned during my review as I was reading it, and there's some really cool screenshots. I had almost 500 screenshots on Facebook before I deleted my account, which was recent. But I still had some on Discord that I started sharing other places since I knew I was deleting Facebook. I started to. Now I'm posting more on Instagram and Tumblr, and I started sharing my screenshots more often on Discord as well. Yeah, and my Discord is basically just me for the most part, right? You know, sometimes people might stop in or whatever, but yeah, which is, I've noticed it's kind of normal for everywhere now. It's weird. It's been like that for a couple of years, if not a few years. It's funny to me because people are all, and every channel that I'm in, every time for a long time, for a couple of years now, people have been saying dead channel, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of everybody. Like they're acting like it's just happening for this one channel is dead. Like, no, I mean everybody's channel is dead, and unless there happens to be activity, you know. So one of the moderators had ended up replying to me as well. One of the moderators of GMG had said the same thing about like the toxic emojis, and they were like, it doesn't look good, you haven't been active in this Discord for 4 months, and then you come in here and you post a review and then you just react to criticism, you know, right? That's what I forgot about that. That's what they said. I forget exactly how the conversation went, but I said, somebody else said, yo, you're mocking the mod, because oh yeah, that's right, I put emojis on the moderator's response as well. Poop and clown and sheep. Look, I'm really mad at everybody right now. I'm mad at the world, and it sucks. But I'm also, like I said, I'm not taking any shit anymore. I don't care. I've actually been in a channel where they removed my emojis, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, it's literally like, whatever. This is the world we live in, where you can't insult morons, but the morons can be morons. This is the world that we live in. Anyways, so I put the emojis on there, and then somebody else responded saying, oh, and then you mock the moderator. And I asked them, I said, what mockery? Because I'm as far as I'm aware, with the definition of mockery, putting emojis on there isn't exactly a mockery, right? Anyways, and then the moderator responded and said like how it was a mockery or whatever. And what did I say? I forget. Oh yeah, because the moderator who had responded had said basically the same thing, and then said I couldn't take criticism. And so I just replied up with emojis, and then they explained what the mockery was, and I said, well, look at it this way. It's criticism. My emojis were criticism. Because they are. Without having to say any words. And then somebody else replied to that saying, oh, no, emojis aren't real criticism because there's no blah, blah, blah. Like, they just said really stupid shit. Meanwhile, they're offended by the emojis while saying it's not criticism. Well, if it's not criticism, why are you offended? Come on, man. Come on. This is funny stuff, man. Like, whatever. I think it's funny. Anyways, look, I know that that might all seem like I'm being a jerk or whatever, but I'm done with the stupidity, man. I'm done with it. I don't care, and I'm going to call it out. And it doesn't mean I'm gonna call it out everywhere on everything, but I am going to call it out when it's part of something that I'm interacting with. I'm going to. I'm sick and tired of it, man. Especially seeing where things are going. It's insane. It's insane. Anyways, sorry. Because like, anyways, all right, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go. Take care. Hope you enjoy my review. Oh, as far I did mention, you know, if you don't want it right away or anything, get it on sale for sure, right? Like, I'm not saying go buy this game full price or anything, especially since it still has not been. I don't think it's been even received an optimization patch yet. I know that they recently announced they were going to do one, and I don't know when it's happening though. So there will be some optimization patches coming, or a patch or whatever is coming. But yeah, I mean, like I mentioned at the end of the review, like I wouldn't want to play this on a low-end PC because it would probably break it, you know. Anyways, yeah. So if you have PS5 or whatever, I'd probably recommend it for if you have money. Like it, you know, it's a cool game, and if you think it looks cool, it's very cool. All right. Anyways, bye bye. Take care. Good luck.